Have you ever wondered why Chinese people speak Mandarin and Cantonese and not just Chinese? Well, you've come to the right place. Hey, people of the interweb, how's it hanging? So the other day, I was having a casual conversation with a friend. No, I'm not a loser. I do have friends. I know, crazy, right? Now, he happened to be Chinese, and we were talking about our cultures until the conversation shifted to language. I asked if he spoke Mando or Canto. He said both. I replied with, instead of learning two languages, how come China doesn't have one Chinese language? He couldn't come up with a response, so I made it my mission to look it up. So here's what I got. China has been for many centuries and even millenniums been a vast and diverse empire, dating back to the Jia dynasty. Due to its size, Chinese people from different regions spoke different dialects. People from the south in Guangzhou spoke differently from the people in Beijing. The Yuan dynasty was one of the first dynasties to unite most of the Eastern Asians or Sino-Tibetan people. The capital of the Yuan dynasty was Kanbalik, or now known as Beijing. In the beginnings, the Yuan dynasty was a Mongol tribe and spoke their native language. But the Mongols did overthrow the Jin dynasty located in the north, the Western Jia dynasty located around Jingqing, and the Song dynasty in the middle and south of modern-day China. No, Songs did not like music too much. While these small dynasties weren't the biggest Chinese dynasties ever, they were strong enough to last each 150 years at the least. Except for the Jin, who lasted about 100 years. Lol, Jin, you fail. All these people lived in different countries or empires for 100 years. That's quite the amount of time for culturally similar people to live separately. In this 100 to 200 years that these empires were separated, differences were created. The Jin, which had just been 100 years ago conquered the Liao dynasty, had been the first to be conquered by the Mongols, since they were the closest. The Jin also conquered a bit of the Song dynasty too. Their military success was mainly due to their cavalry. Some emperors became alcoholics and weren't very good rulers, and the empire was collapsing when the Mongols came. Next, the Western Jia occupied a very important trade route called the Hexi Cordon. They also made very important advancements in literature, art, music, and architecture. They had very good army organization that used many different units. They also used amphibious warfare, and their people spoke mostly Tangut and Chinese. Lastly, the Song dynasty, who were very good with agriculture. The techniques it developed were superior to their neighbors to the north. They were the first Chinese people to organize a very strong fleet. They were also the first to use gunpowder in 1234, albeit they were conquered in 1271 by Kublai Khan. And their people mostly spoke Chinese. While the Yuan dynasty did unite all the so-called Chinese people, the different cultures were still divided. Through all the continuing dynasties, the Ming, the Qing, and now modern-day China, the people maintained their cultural differences as there was never too much migration in China. So the answer to our question is that China was once separated and therefore cultural differences were set before being reunited by the Mongols. Mongols ruining stuff since 1234. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the first episode. Have a great day.